everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas. Thank you so much for joining us today. We've got an epic show ahead, but just remember, if any of you have experiences you'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. You can either email me at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com or head over to paranormalportal.net and scroll down and find the button that says Interview Me, and that'll allow you to look at a calendar of possible times and dates and find a date that works for you. Love to hear your stories, so definitely get in touch with me.
Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
This chilling children's rhyme has echoed through the generations. A grim nursery tale that introduced countless kids to the horror of murder. But behind the rhyme lies a truly gruesome truth. The brutal, unforgiving killings that stained this home with blood and shocked a nation. Though Lizzie Borden was ultimately acquitted of the crimes, the truth of what really happened that fateful day remains a chilling mystery. Her freedom left behind a legacy of suspicion and a story that has captivated people for over a century. Today, the Lizzie Borden House stands as a monument to the unsolved darkness, now considered one of America's most haunted locations. It continues to attract crowds of paranormal enthusiasts and curious tourists, all hoping to uncover a secret or encounter a spirit still trapped in the house's dark, silent rooms. Hey everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is another fantastic episode of the show. We've got an amazing show lined up for you guys, and we'll get into that in a second, but I want to take a quick moment to thank all of you for tuning in, for all your love and support, and your continued referrals to let other people know about the show. It means the world to me, and thank you so much. So today, guys, we've got a really cool show lined up. I am interviewing Mr. Ryk McIntyre, who is a tour guide at the Lizzie Borden House. And I know everybody knows the name Lizzie Borden, but this is going to be an outstanding opportunity to dive into the stories, into experiences people have had, including our guest, Mr. Ryk McIntyre, his experiences as well. So buckle up. We're going in. Hey, Ryk, welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. I love the idea of getting there. I've never been there, but this is definitely one of those locations that I think every paranormal enthusiast, it's their bucket list. And I got to ask you, how did you get involved in all of this?
A little bit accidentally. I had a friend who was working here some years ago, and in 2021, they wanted to commemorate the August 4th anniversary of the murders. But without having a big crowd at the house, things were just opening up after COVID lockdown. And so they decided to live stream an event. My friend contacted me and asked me if I was interested in being involved in it. And honestly, at that point, I knew the first verse of the famous Lizzie Borden poem. And like everybody else, the incorrect assumption, oh, she killed her parents, right? So I came in, I read the script, got involved that way. And a few weeks later, was contacted by the house to see if I was interested in coming on board as a tour guide, and I have been there now a little over 4 years.
That is fantastic. I think, obviously, were you already steeped in this world prior to this, or was this kind of like?
I had a very, very peripheral interest.
Mhm.
I had one major kind of paranormal event in my life out in Western Massachusetts.
Okay.
Seeing a ghost on a roadside in the middle of the night.
Oh.
And otherwise, everybody has those little moments of ESP, or
Sure. Yeah.
you're driving through a place and you just have this feeling like you do not want to break down here. And you don't know what that feeling is, but it just feels like you just drove through a bad place.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I think that's probably, like you said, I think that, everybody's had at least probably some kind of experience, whether they acknowledge it or not. But I just think it's fascinating that you found yourself, going to be becoming actively involved in what is known as one of the more haunted locations in the nation. And
Yep.
I got to ask you now, prior to doing this, you said you had a peripheral interest after having some experience, but
Yeah.
what was it like for you to actually get in there and do this, and how did your views change?
Well, of course, when you enter the house, there's that whole awareness of you're there where it happened and in the house with the big reputation. So I think a lot of people get a little overwhelmed with that.
Yeah.
Mentally, sometimes even physically.
Mm-hmm.
And you could argue that they're sensitive to something else going on. And that's certainly seen some instances of that. But I think it was actually when I was shadowing one of the other tour guides to just see how the tour was done and as such. And I was coming up from the basement and saw this little flash of movement, again, peripheral vision at the top of the stairs. But then I didn't hear anybody go up the stairs or out the side door, or actually I didn't hear anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I saw a bit of, clothing flash by.
Oh, cool.
So right from the beginning, the house was a little weird. And honestly, I try to maintain a agnostic perspective that if you really think or investigate things, 95% of it is quite normal and terrestrial in origin. It's just that the other 5% of things that have absolutely no shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
What just happened kind of moments.
Mm-hmm.
And for some of our guides, they happen fairly regularly. For others, I can go a few weeks without, anything, and it feels just like an old house.
Yeah.
And then, you hear footsteps and humming on another floor, and you're the only one in the house.
So the first time that happened to you, how did you react? I mean, were you prepared, do you think, or no?
I didn't think it would happen that quick. That's one thing. Again, I investigated it as much as I could afterwards, and I would have heard somebody open the door. I would have heard somebody go up the stairs. Actually, I should have heard somebody walking by with that, flash of clothing.
Yeah.
And there was nada.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever probably be prepared for the for the quote unquote impossible to happen right in front of you. But
Right.
yeah, I think it's a fascinating experience, and again, the house, it doesn't surprise me even a little that probably those kind of experiences are pretty common. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have guest books that were the people who stay overnight write down their experiences, and again, some of them stay the night, and it's a quaint old Victorian house, and then we get the other extreme of people who leave in the middle of the night because they heard that it was haunted, but the reality of having a door slam on you or wide open, it's a little different than the reality.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not made for TV kind of experience. It's like, this is real life.
No, on the other hand, you have, when people ask me if I have stories about the house, I have to preface it by guests or ghosts. Because some of our guests, we have one guy, this is before we had this little mannequin installed in the John Morse room where Abby's body would have been, just so people can kind of see the reality of, a human being was lying there, murdered.
Right.
But before we had that installed, and we just referred to the place where Abby had been found.
Right.
One night we thought the guy who had rented that room had left in the middle of the night because the bed was not slept in at all.
Oh.
What we discovered was that he had put a pad and a sleeping bag down where Abby's body had been discovered.
Oh.
And that's where he spent the night.
Oh. Yikes. That's...
another couple, I helped him propose to his bride in that room.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they were a spooky couple, and it kind of, it worked out overall.
Sure.
And they wanted to do it at a spooky house, and it was a lovely thing underneath the Addams Family veneer, because they were a very in love couple, and they were ready for that step, and she just didn't know when it was coming, and I helped him pull it off in a really cool kind of way.
Oh, that's really cool. So. Yeah. And who could forget that experience? Not only being there, but then, to have
love at the double murder site.
Yeah, that's something for the Valentine books, I'm sure. But I think that's really fascinating and cool. So when you were talking, you and I were talking a little bit before. Obviously, there's a legend of what happened, and then there's a reality of what happened. And can you address some of the inconsistencies between the legend and the facts as we know them?
Well, the facts are that a double murder occurred in that house, that after many leads were followed, the most likely one was the man's own youngest daughter, Lizzie Borden. The problem is that the police are almost mythic in how badly they botched this investigation.
Oh, okay.
Including not keeping proper records, so later they can't prove, for instance, that an officer was the first person in the barn where they suppose found evidence that Lizzie was lying about her alibi, but, without the right documentation later, it was, fell apart in court. Ultimately, there was no physical evidence that linked her to the murders, and she was acquitted mostly for lack of evidence and very shrewd legal work.
Oh.
They did have the money to hire the best defense attorney in the area, the ex-governor, George Robinson, who it turns out while he's defending Lizzie in court, one of the 3 judges overseeing the Borden case was a judge that George Robinson had placed on the bench back when he was governor. So there are these little, inconsistencies like, excuse me, what? and he didn't recuse himself, apparently, okay, back then. But when you talk about the movies and let's talk about the three major ones with Elizabeth Montgomery, Christina Ricci, and I'll mess this name up, Chloe Sevigny.
Okay.
7A.
Yeah, maybe.
If you're out there, Chloe, I apologize. All three of them, to most intents and purposes, are based on the rumors and the popular stories.
Okay.
Here's a good example. Every one of them will have a scene in which Lizzie avoids getting blood on her clothing by stripping naked before each murder.
Oh.
This almost certainly did not happen.
Okay.
We're talking about an upright Protestant, New England Protestant, and they didn't leave the bedroom without multiple layers of clothing.
Sure.
It happened because of a joke one of her attorneys made during the pretrial hearings, where he asked, well, are you saying that my client, who had no blood on her, somehow committed these two brutal murders? Oh, wait, maybe she was naked at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I guarantee you that scene will be in the Netflix special that's supposed to be coming out next year.
Oh, okay.
Because the only thing that makes a true crime story better is true crime and the sex angle.
Yeah, nudity. Yeah.
You know, was Lizzie caught with Bridget / Alice Russell, and therefore Abby had to die to protect their secret? You know, was Lizzie involved with an actor later on in her life? This actress named Nance O'Neill. These are all popular myths. There's no letter or diary that supports any of it.
Oh, okay.
And it's not to say it's not possible. It's just that people have made it a definitive part of the story.
Right.
And like many parts of the popular stories, it's conjecture, it's rumor, it's theory. It's the part that make it look good.
Oh, okay.
You know, if Andrew was abusing the women in his house, then his death is a just one.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's one. I mean, it's so hard to separate the two because, yeah, I mean, it's so ground into the culture. I mean, my God, I grew up in middle America, in Minnesota. And I don't think there's a school child alive, at least for a long time, that hadn't heard the Lizzie Borden story and that little rhyme.
It's pretty much the first murder investigation and trial extensively covered in the media, because it happens right around the time of the generalized use of the teletype machine.
Oh, okay.
So that makes instant national news, and this was even front page news in England.
Really?
And given that it's a few years after the Ripper murders, they're probably, thankful for the American distraction.
Good job, yeah.
Oh, look, those terrible Americans.
Yeah.
And, Lizzie's, the money the family had certainly affected the outcome. Lizzie being the young feminine daughter of a wealthy upper class financially. They didn't live that way.
Sure.
Many people believe she was completely incapable of that because women weren't capable of that kind of brutal violence.
Oh, I see.
Genteel creatures, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or this is the science back then.
Sure.
And societal assumptions.
Right. Yeah.
But then Lizzie not acting in many ways like they would expect a daughter to behaving is what starts the suspicion of her pretty much from day one.
And I realize I might be asking a lot here, but as someone who's obviously very well versed with the facts, the folklore, and all of all of that surrounding this, do you believe, with what you know and what you've researched, that she was indeed the person who did it?
Oh, that's easy. I can answer that. Yes, no.
Ooh.
Alternately, I can answer it no, yes.
Okay. No.
There's a couple very solid theories. One is that Lizzie committed the murders. I think it's Occam's razor that says the simplest solution is the most
Yeah.
likely one.
Yeah.
And, she was in the house. The maid was in and out of the house. Hatchets were common household items. She certainly had access to them.
Mm-hmm.
The mother was not liked, to say the least.
Oh.
And the sisters honestly feared that if their father died first, then Abby would be in control of all the money. And not only would they have to live under her roof, but she could cut them out entirely from the estate.
Oh.
So there's certainly a motive,
Sure.
In today's, he was worth somewhere between $1.3 and $500,000 million, and today that would be like 8 to 12 million.
Oh, sure.
So we're talking about a decent inheritance, and other people say, well, no, Lizzie is just victim of circumstances, and that the uncle who came into town unexpectedly the day before and has a very carefully set up alibi for where he was the morning of the murders. One of his witnesses is the family doctor, who happened to be out on a house call. It turns out to the daughter of the niece that John was going to visit that morning.
Oh, okay.
I know, what a coincidence. And the story is overripe with coincidences. Now, John knew some shady people in the animal buying and selling community, particularly a camp of what was called itinerant horse traders near South Dartmouth, Mass., where he was living at the time. One of the theories is Emma is out of town, so she won't be suspected. John has hired the killer and makes sure he's out of the house. Did Lizzie let the killer into the house? Did Lizzie honestly not know what was going on that morning? It gets a little incredulous, but again, nobody has that final bit of proof.
Yeah.
And 133 years later, that's why people are still debating it.
Right.
Now, I could definitely believe, it also, the more you read, the more you kind of sway one way, the other. More and more, it definitely seems like an inside job.
Okay.
Or definitely an inside cover-up afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Involving the older sister, the family doctor.
And then the list goes on, yeah. And
yeah.
With that kind of a fortune, back then, I'm sure there's lots of interested parties that...
Yeah, well, he wasn't he was a very, very good businessman, but not at all a social human being.
Oh.
He liked to make money and save it and then go home. So he didn't play the game of going to, parties, balls, that sort of thing.
Okay.
He didn't live up on what was called the hill at the time, even though he had the money for a completely modern mansion. He picks a house in the middle of the Irish neighborhood just because it's really close to the business district.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah. So he was very atypical that way, yeah.
Yeah, and you don't get that wealthy without making enemies.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of business enemies, ex-employees, current employees were investigated. All of them seem to have reasonable alibis, or it just being impossible for them to have committed the murder. And again, suspicion keeps coming back around to Lizzie.
Wow. Yeah. It's compelling because again, and I can see why this story still survived to this day, because it did became part of culture, across the nation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, that's fascinating. So, currently the house is able to be investigated.
Yes, many people, there's a couple options.
Okay.
For the deep pocket paranormal investigator, you can rent the entire house out,
Oh,
including we won't host the usual evening nights, so you have the house to yourself for the whole night.
okay.
There's lesser options of lesser expensive options of renting the house, but there will be a nighttime tour and a nighttime ghost hunt from 10 to midnight. Or you can rent the basement from midnight to 8 in the morning.
Oh, is
So
there
we have many different packages, you know.
right? Is there an area of the house that tends to be more active as far as encounters and experiences?
I think it really revolves around the house, depending. But the basement, of course, is always well, basements are weird anyway. And in the past, past owners of the house allowed the use of Ouija boards,
Oh no. Okay.
which were not, you know. And I can read some of the guest reports. We used our Ouija board and things were great. Blah 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 blah. Then we decided to do this instead, and I'm like, but you closed the door, right? But you closed the door and said goodbye, you know. So that's why there's entities in the house that, you know, have probably nothing to do with the Bordens or that time period, or, you know.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you, and I don't know if you're familiar with this term or not, but it's one that I think is at least a strong factor in a lot of haunting cases, and that is the idea of an egregore, the idea that if people are expecting and believe that there's something going on in a place, that it's very possible, potentially, that they can create some kind of entity or, you know, experiences just because of the expectation.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, the mind can certainly play tricks on itself, but when you read through the books and talk to the other people who have done, you know, the ghost hunting,
Sure.
there's certain uniformity in the reported experiences, that it's not, oh, I felt a really weird feeling in the basement.
Sure.
It's, I thought I saw a shadow run to the front right corner of the basement. This is a basement. This is a corner that many of our ghost hunters refer to as the nope corner. Like, nope, they're not going to that corner. And I had an experience not 2 weeks ago, and this is in the middle of the day. Like, a lot of my experiences do not happen in the dark gothic night, you know.
Sure.
I'm coming downstairs, I'm leading a small tour to the basement, and I saw what I assumed was one of our housekeeping staff moving quick, you know, walking quickly around the corner to the laundry area so they could be out of the way of the tour. But again, I saw a shadow of someone moving across the floor. I didn't hear anything.
Oh.
And there was nobody in the laundry area, nor had anyone gone out the back cellar door, because I would have heard it open no matter how quiet they were trying to be.
Wow.
And that was the first time I ever saw this shadow person, like full body. And, you know, we had a British team of paranormal investigators that came in, and they spent the better part of an evening, and then they sent us an email with some of their findings. And we're just, you know, at the same time laughing and also shivering a little bit that they seem to have encountered a rather unfriendly, verbally hostile spirit, maybe named Carl, and they put it C. Carl or K. Carl. This entity is known to our female ghost hunters as, he's a misogynist who, you know, and they're hearing through the spirit box, you know, slut, whore.
Oh, no. Wow.
Trollop, you know. So, and then they were like, and we're pretty sure we saw a shadow run to the front right corner of the basement. And we're all like, you probably did.
Now, would you say that it's like you and I were talking before, that everybody that works there eventually gets some kind of experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have one guide that's been here over 3 months that, well, she's kind of sad about it. She wants to have an experience.
Mm.
She is afraid she is ghost kryptonite, though. That, like, something about her makes all the ghosts and spooky stuff go away.
Sure.
And, some people are more sensitive to things than others.
Sure.
I appreciate at the end of a tour when someone confides in me that they're a sensitive, and then they ask, certain questions about certain areas that prove, yeah, you picked up something you didn't know about, and yet, what we always fear is someone who announces that at the beginning of the tour.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Because they will interrupt your tour and make it about them at some point, They'll sit down in a chair suddenly,
Gets a little theatrical, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and they don't, there's a way of doing it where people are like, what just happened? And there's another way where people on the other, the other guests on the tour are like, is this supposed to be part of the show? And I'm like, no, it's not.
No, I can appreciate that. There, I do know and believe wholeheartedly there are some incredibly talented psychics out there, and there's no question about it. But you're right. There's a lot of people that love to wave that banner everywhere they go, like that's their identity.
Yeah, the same thing with ghost hunters. I mean, the ones who, and I understand that if you have a cable show or a YouTube show, and you need to keep generating content.
Yeah.
There is the pressure on you, I don't want to say to create fake content, but, when I see some of these ghost hunters and they're like, I'm feeling a lot of rage in this room.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
That's not really proving anything to me or...
right. Yeah.
And again, the problem is even if you see, like one of their cameras suddenly move, you got to take it on their word that it wasn't something off camera affecting it. Mm-hmm. And then there are just some of them out there that, as you hear through the biz, I guess, the ghost hunting biz, as weird as that sounds, that some of them are just faking the shit.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
They have to. They have a national TV show to produce, and I had this. There was one woman who rented out the whole house, whole evening, everything. She knows a lot of these more famous ghost hunters and will be invited to events that they put on, exclusive events. Uh-huh. She herself doesn't want any kind of YouTube show because she doesn't do it for that.
Right. Okay.
And I watched this woman converse with a spirit and get it to take a $5 cheap, dollar store flashlight and make it not only turn on and off from a distance, but get the spirit to go a halfway sort of setting for maybe, or I don't know.
Oh, nice.
And I'm watching this, and I've been, that was our flashlight. I know it was bought for $5 at a discount store.
Sure.
The woman had, sleeveless. She wasn't secretly manipulating something. She was very, very earnest and very humble about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when, the skin starts crawling because, there's no motive for creating this.
Sure.
They're just
That's
proving that there are so many things in heaven and earth not dreamed about in your philosophy, Horatio.
So what types of activity are most common, and have you seen or heard of people experiencing objects moving or, more of the, over the top kind of stuff?
Most of it seems auditory.
Okay.
Footsteps, doors slamming, cabinets opening by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Some of this is witness. Some of this, people come back into the room and all the cabinets or all the drawers were open, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We, of course, don't have cameras in the bedrooms, but sometimes we can catch stuff in the common areas.
Mm.
One of the things that always sets me off that this isn't a normal noise is when you hear 3 or 4 footsteps, and they generally happen auditorily in the middle of a staircase.
Oh, okay.
But they never finish at the top or the bottom.
Oh.
You just hear a couple footsteps in the middle of the staircase, and that's when I know,
Yeah. Something's amiss.
There have been a lot of it is people reporting afterwards that, an object is in a different place or got knocked over while they were falling asleep.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest experience I ever had with that was I was in the basement with one of the other staff, and we were filming some videos, and the light wasn't right. We were down in the basement in what was the Borden's storage and wood chopping room, and is now, we call it the seance room.
Oh.
Anyway, there was one of those fake Japanese folded screens, 3-part little screens. And it was folded up, and it was leaning against the wall opposite to the doorway to this room.
Mm-hmm.
So we get up to leave the room, and all of a sudden that screen slams down on the floor in between the two of us.
Ooh, yikes! That's pretty.
And I don't know what to do in that moment, because I have never seen an object that large move, much less coming, directed near me.
Yeah.
The woman who is now the on-site manager, she was awesome. She, without pausing, she was like, "Knock it off, Carl."
Oh, that's great.
Hey.
Yeah.
There's really only been one time in all that I've seen or experienced anything that the house genuinely scared me.
Yeah.
I was unnerved once when I had called down to I thought I heard people in the basement, again, housekeeping, and when I went down to the basement, it turns out nobody was there. The next time I was looking for them and thought I heard voices down there, I asked, "Is anyone down there?" and got a muffled but affirmative response.
Really?
Except there was nobody down there.
Oh, that's
I don't like feeling like I just got lured, so I left the house then. The other time, I'm alone on the property, and I'm in the basement near the cellar door.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I hear 2 or 3 footsteps on the middle of the stairs that go from the basement to the back hallway. And all I can tell you, Brent, is that every animal sense in the back of my brain that tells you to be somewhere else lit up.
Oh, wow.
Every hair stood on end, and I just did not want to know what was ever on the stairs. So I very quietly left the house and closed the cellar door, did not look behind me.
Mm-hmm.
And I went back in the house with a tour later that day, and the house was fine.
Huh.
But that one moment, I wouldn't have stayed in the cellar for nothing.
Yeah. Well, now, Rick, I'm sure you must be a little familiar with the idea behind residual haunts versus intelligent haunts. Mm-hmm. Okay, so
yes.
And some of the stuff you're explaining sounds like it could be residual, but there does seem to be a very active intelligence to some of this too, doesn't there?
Yeah, I mean, the figure in the shadow, and I like to use the term residual haunt. I always use the term when I was trying to explain to people, some ghosts are like film loops. You always see the lady in white along the castle parapet. She jumps to her death. No body's ever found. Then there are the ones that you, like you say, you interact with through spirit boxes. And here's where I'm still kind of feeling that out, because I always, like I say, I'm an agnostic. I'm always looking for the Harry Houdini explanation that this
Sure.
is somehow, a scam or a carefully rigged illusion,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but there are just some of the things that just don't have those explanations.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if the entities. Well, some people say they communicate with Andrew and Abby,
Okay.
and I think that's given what I think I know about manifestations. Since both of them were likely, well, Andrew was killed while he was sleeping and may not have even know that he's dead.
Right.
Abby may or may not have seen the blow that knocked her to the floor senseless, but she may have had that moment of complete panic and fright.
Sure.
So these are different theories for how a spirit gets anchored to a site.
Sure. Yep.
I got to tell you a little story though, and this is where you struggle with ethics as a tour guide. You want to give people a fun experience, but you also, people are people. So it's the middle of a ghost hunt, and I'm just having this problem that a lot of the equipment wasn't properly charged. So a lot of people's batteries are draining, and it's just too many of them happening for it to be the paranormal. Oh my,
Yeah.
EMF detector just drained. So I'm going out to the barn to get more equipment, and there are these two really kind of bro dudes that I was surprised were there. But they're talking about something and they stop me. Because I would, working there, I would know everything about ghosts. That's another assumption people make. Could a ghost cross the Taunton River? Well, there is a bridge. No, I mean, can they cross water? Do I? But the question is, one of them maintains that they could contact Lizzie Borden's ghost there at 92 2nd Street, or what was 92. The other one says, no, she lived longer at Maplecroft. Her ghost would only manifest there. So they asked me to be the tiebreaker in this who is right here. And on the spot, I told them, well, given that the usual diameter for manifestation is up to 6.7 miles, that's entirely possible.
Nice.
And as I walk away, they're like, whoa, dude, I stand corrected. Oh, man, 6.7 miles. I wonder how it's so specific. So if you ever hear about a 6.7 mile diameter for hauntings.
Thank you, Rick, for resetting.
Because we need more disinformation about, all this and the Borden story.
Well, I will tell you that most professed experts will do a lot of the same thing with no irony. So
Sure. Well, I'll tell you the most profound experience I had, and it was the only time I have seen like a solid manifestation. I've seen bits of the shadow person. I've seen some misty kind of manifestations once.
Mm-hmm.
This time I was coming into work. It was about 6 months after I'd been hired. So late March. It's one of those really rainy, wet, cold days.
Yeah.
And I pull behind the house into the parking lot, and there's a woman standing against the side wall, and she has got the most ornate Victorian dress on that I've ever seen. I mean, a lot of people come dressed up even to take regular tours, never mind stay overnight or whatever. They just really want to get into it.
Yeah.
And this woman had it all. She had a little, the lace, the bows, this proper hat with a veil, just really awesome. And I just wanted to say, God, I hope you're here for the tour, because, that's the best costume I've ever seen. But in the second I took my eyes off her to park the car, she was gone.
Oh.
And there's literally nowhere in that period of time that she could have gone that I would not have seen a fleeing figure.
Yeah.
So again, you go back and forth. Did I really see that? Did I think I see something, back and forth.
Right.
And then about a week or so later, I'm finishing this book on Lizzie's life later on. And after the sisters move out, they still keep the place as a rental property. Mm-hmm. And Lizzie was known to occasionally check on the property, but never again went inside.
Oh.
And the end of the sentence was, to preserve her anonymity, she would always dress in black with a hat and veil.
Oh, fascinating.
And that's when, again, I got that whole all hairs on the back standing up. And, I'm pretty sure I saw Lizzie checking out the property.
Isn't that something? Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah, and since then, nothing that, definite. Until the shadow figure the other week, but
that's quite a.
It never gets old to.
It's got to be amazingly, exciting and maybe, even cautionary going to work any day. You don't know what you're going to experience.
No. But the people that work there, and I got to give them the shout out. It's literally best group of people I've ever worked with. And,
cool.
Every place says, oh, we're just like a family, but we really do care about each other.
Yeah.
And we've got a job with the best water cooler talk ever.
Yeah.
What did you see yesterday? Oh, I heard this. Oh, this thing flew off the shelf. We've all become relentless history nerds that, here's an example. Right now I'm reading through the trial notes and collected news clippings that the family lawyer Andrew Jennings collected up to and including the trial.
Wow.
A lot of this is really dry. A lot of this is 9 news clippings that say the same thing.
Sure.
But every once in a while you come across a little gem like, according to this one police interviewer, Uncle John heard about the crime due to a telephone message at his niece's house that he was visiting that morning. Later, he tells the same interviewer that he learned about the crime when he returned to the house that morning.
Oh.
When it's pointed out that this is different than what he said before, John angrily denies it.
Oh, man.
So again, there are these little details you come across that are like, you have to sift through pages and pages and pages of boring trial testimony.
Sure.
But we're always working to get the most accurate story possible.
Sure. Yeah.
Because there's so much, I wrote the basic training guide for our new training script for our new guides.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the time I had what were considered some of the best books on the subject. We have now been blessed with getting to know this woman, Kara Robertson, that wrote the book, The Trial of Lizzie Borden, as well as this woman, Shelley, I'm going to butcher this last name, I think it's Dryzek. She runs a website called Lizzie Borden Warps and Wefts.
Oh.
In my opinion, these are the 2 best experts on the story probably in the world. And they are helping us. They're just so generous with their time and information. They are helping us, find the bits and pieces that were still, more allegorical than factual.
Yeah.
And if we can prove that factually something didn't happen, then, no matter how bit or juicy a story it is, you have to either A, stop telling it as what happened, or, as I do sometimes, I'll gather together a bunch of the most lurid rumors. Later in life, Lizzie appeared at a charity picnic for the Fall River Police, and she took part in a wood chopping competition. It's a great story. There's no evidence in any Fall River paper, at any time in her life of such a thing happening.
Sure.
Would I love for it to be true? Sure. Is it likely not? Sadly, yes.
Yeah.
Can it still be part of a story that you present, as long as you're careful about saying these are the outrageous myths and rumors that develop from a story that already has enough twists and turns and reveals to be fascinating to the, you get the true crime enthusiasts
Mm-hmm.
that overlap with the paranormal enthusiasts.
Yeah.
And for people that are, I also like to say that the Borden House is a great uh, first step if you want to do some ghost hunting,
Yeah.
because it's not the sort of place where we get a lot of something pushed me really hard or
Yeah.
something scratched me. And look,
Yeah.
I occasionally get invitations from people that I meet there to go to fill in the name of abandoned psychiatric hospital that's been condemned for 50 years and was the site of terrible patient abuses. And I'm like, oh, so for so many reasons, no. You have a good time and you tell me all the stories when you come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Oh, dude, last time Brenda had hair pulled out of her head. I'm like, not selling it.
I'm not convinced. Yeah. Why would I need
plus,
to experience that?
there's so many ways you can die in a condemned building and not have a whiff of a ghost anywhere near you. So,
Yeah.
again,
that and what you're going to breathe in, and God only knows what's there.
It also brings up this point where that really feels like a kind of, I don't know, lurid tourism.
Sure.
And, I tell a story that's, theatrical, a little bit penny dreadful, and, full of some dad jokes and the like.
Sure.
At the end of the day, I always thank the spirits and I say good morning in the beginning of the day, because I wouldn't have this job if it weren't for a terrible double murder of quite possibly two innocent people.
Yeah.
All the stories add details that make their deaths more palatable. Oh, Andrew was a terrible Scrooge who kept the girls from social life. Oh, Abby was gold digging bitch that just was after the money and was going to cut the sisters out of what's rightfully theirs. And, or Andrew was abusing his daughters and therefore his death was judgment,
Right.
They're all great stories and they all make, heroes and villains out of what are complicated people, a lot of money, family dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There's layers and layers and layers of this stuff. Now, I'm wondering what following her acquittal, that's where the roadmap ends for most of us, just, as far as my personal awareness. But what was the rest of Lizzie's life like?
Well, she didn't want to continue living in the house, so she and her sister purchased a house up on the Highlands district, what was called the Hill at the time.
Okay.
It's a lovely big mansion house with all the modern conveniences. Lizzie is finally living her best life. Emma just wants this to be over.
Yeah.
But the gossip and scandal continue. Many people were like, how dare Lizzie stay in Fall River when everybody knows what she did? Mm. Lizzie would respond, she was found not guilty and she can live wherever she pleases. Mm-hmm. She's found not guilty legally, socially. She is condemned pretty much for the rest of her life.
Yeah.
But she lives a fairly solitary life. There's some initial scandals as she's throwing parties. She's hanging out with actors considered. Well, I think criminals got more respect than actors back then. Crime, you at least have to really work for your income, maybe. But it has all the markings of a woman who lived repressed for so many years and now she can do whatever she wants. Mm-hmm. But cavorting with actresses and actors, being politically fairly liberal compared to her sister. Mm-hmm. Lizzie just that kind of eventually wears down on Emma, who moves out in 1905. And although they do not talk for the last 22 years of their lives, Emma continues to defend her sister in interviews.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
and people wonder, was it Lizzie's, liberal partying that estranged the daughters? Was it that Lizzie finally told Emma what really happened that day, and Emma just can't live with that?
Sure.
Again, here's where people pour in their own details of what happened, and
yeah, I think it's one of those question marks. I think we're all dying for the answer, and it's probably, I mean, clearly it's never really going to come, but I don't know. It's
there may be one thin chance, and that is because supposedly Lizzie's star defense attorney, George Robinson, the story is there's something in his defense file that only he knew.
Oh.
And for some reason is not shared with the other defense attorneys or the prosecution. This file sits in a secure storage facility owned by the law firm that grew out of the one George Robinson founded.
Wow.
It will probably never be opened because in 1996, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld the concept that there is no end to attorney-client privilege. Following the death of those involved, yeah.
Wow.
So many people wonder if the final secret is in that.
Yeah. Wow.
Because I'll tell you, in the Jennings book, there is no Lizzie confided in me that she did it and she got away with it.
Yeah.
There's no smoking gun in that book.
Okay. Well, it's a fascinating story, and it continues to intrigue us. I think it's as you mentioned. I mean, it's both the true crime and it's paranormal all in one.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got some hallmarks of that it's going to be around for a lot longer than probably we all will be. But
yeah, I got to throw in that it's also got some strong overlap of feminism because. A lot of women kind of look at Lizzie as a bit of a heroic figure.
Sure, yeah. I can imagine.
It's really funny when, I had a girl, oh God, she couldn't have been more than 9 years old on a tour the other day, technically below our age limit.
Mm-hmm.
But she was like, I was Lizzie Borden last Halloween. And, I'm doing a report on her in my class. And, or older women, in high school have told me, oh, we're doing Lizzie the musical.
Yeah.
A very, very rock and roll take on the Lizzie story. But great songs. But it's four strong female roles in a musical.
Yeah. That's also where the conundrum lies, though. Is this truly someone we should be celebrating for overcoming some horrible things, or was she just a really broken soul that just snapped? We just don't know. What is it that Lizzie Borden actually embodied versus again the folktale and the legends and such.
Sure.
Yeah, but very fascinating. I've really enjoyed talking to you, Ryk. I think this is amazing, and all I can just say is, I really appreciate the depth, the insight, the knowledge, the research, because this isn't just an occupation for you. This is a big part of your passion, and it comes out in the depth and insights that you have into the story. So I just really appreciate
we all assume that we've got at least 10 years of postpartum employment, postmortem employment.
Oh, sure.
That we're obliged to. So after we die, we have to haunt the house for a minimum of 10 years.
It's a shift change, right? Yeah.
That's it.
Well,
Gotta have some new ghosts for people to interact with.
Amen. Well, Ryk, could you take a minute and let people know how to stay in touch with you, how to get in touch with the Lizzie Borden House?
Sure.
Any information you'd love to provide, I'd love for you to put it out there.
I've got a page on Facebook, like everybody else, under my name.
Okay.
I've also got a Patreon. As far as getting in touch with the house, Lizzie-Borden.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where you can book tours, overnight stays, get Lizzie Borden merch. We're open 364 days a year, every day except Christmas.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a busy year.
Yep.
Oh, fantastic.
And very few nights where someone's not staying at that house.
Wow. That is amazing. Well, please keep the show in mind if a bunch of new stuff comes up and you're like, oh,
I certainly will.
I'd love to have you back.
Reach out to me through the people at LizzieBorden.com when you plan to come by the house. I'd love to be your tour guide.
I would love for you to be my tour guide, sir, and I will definitely do that. But thank you so much for your time, Ryk. It's been a pleasure meeting you and talking with you. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. And we'll get you back and we'll have some more discussion around this fascinating subject, sir. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for us today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show, and thank you again so much for all your love and support. And remember, if you want to follow the Paranormal Portal, probably the easiest way is to head over to paranormalportal.net. And that's the homepage for the Paranormal Portal, and you'll find links to all of our different social media and sites and information about the shows, including our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/paranormalportal. Or just look for Paranormal Portal on Google or whatever search engine, and you'll find links to our social media such as Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. So we're kind of all over the place, and we're spreading as well as we can. But anyway, thank you so much for the love and support. Y'all take care, and remember, we love y'all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other, help each other out, find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Until next time.